Hey everyone, it's the Nitty Professor. I'm here today with my friend Benny. Maybe you can see him. He's having a rough time, but we were just taking it one day at a time. And it occurred to me as the rain passed through earlier that would be a good time to talk about bringing some sunshine into our lives with knitting. So that's the theme of my talk today. Had a really interesting time this morning at my congregation's service. They were talking about disability liberation theology, and it was pretty inspiring, and that brought a little sunshine into my life. But let's just look metaphorically and attitudinally, if you will, at the idea of using knitting as a way to bring warmth and sunshine into our life. So we can start by interpreting sunshine as a metaphor for hope and a metaphor for presence. There's a lot to be hopeless about. It's really frustrating to hear the news. I go and I'm like, no, it's like the only filter I can listen to the news through anymore is like A Closer Look, Jon Stewart. I mean, I have to hear people laugh about it because it's just, I don't know, hard to get through. So hope, we need hope. Sunshine is metaphor for presence. Like, you can look on knitting as like kind of a daily ray of light. This is like my ray of light that I'm bringing into my life to warm myself, to bring light upon myself. It's like a little act of faith, a moment of beauty that is brought into the fabric of an ordinary day, especially when I'm knitting with the soft cashmere stuff. This is kind of a sunny color too. You can think of light in a literal sense also, just like these colors. I was knitting on my stock yarn project last night, and so on my sleeve, I'm trying to make the stripes change at about the same rate as they do on the body. So I'm going every 8 rows, I'm changing one ball of yarn out. And thinking about the colors, I had like some really bright neon green in there last night, and it made me happy. It was like a glow of morning light on the wool. There's also the idea of the warmth of finishing something that can stand for like an inner light kind of returning to our life. It's like getting out of a tunnel and getting back into the light. Or you could also think of projects as like a sunrise, beginning something new, like you can make it through the night of a tough day and then experience a sunrise in the notion of I'm going to start something new, like the new day dawning, casting on something. And even if you use colors in the thing that you cast on that are sunny, it could help. There's also some justification for deeming the sun warmth as comfort. And there's a lot of comfort in knitting, in the rhythm, comfort in the repetition, comfort in the way that it calms. It can calm your mind the way sunlight can calm. I was out walking the dogs earlier, for example, about, it was probably 3 o'clock, and it was really sunny, and I was like, this is nice. I saw the high was going to be 75. And then an hour later, I walked the next dog, and it's like, the sun went behind the clouds. So it's kind of nice to think of the sun as something that calms the chill away. And it certainly did for that moment in the afternoon. So now I'm going to resort to my knitting as a way to bring calm and warmth into my evening. Life can feel, obviously, very unpredictable. But there's a lot of predictability in looping yarn stitch by stitch around your needles. It's like a source of steady warmth. Because you know that when you're done and you wear this garment like the one that I have on, it's going to then also provide physical warmth that we can relate to in our mind. Can also think of each row as like a kind of a breath, or each stitch is like a little breath, Each little segment of a sock toe that you knit is kind of like a breath that is insistent but regular and calming and life-bringing. How about the idea of color, sunshine and color? Let's dig into that a little bit deeper. So there are certain colors that remind us of the sun. We can integrate those into our knitting. Yellow, gold, warm cream colors, orange. Maybe you can think of like sunset colors, even verging onto like purple. I was showing you all a day or two ago this new wool that I'm spinning up that was from my friend Kelly, and it celebrates the Aurora Borealis, and even that relates to the sun. You know, it's something about this extreme sun activity that creates magnetic. I don't understand all the science about it, but I do know that the Aurora Borealis is due to the sun, and that's just one more way to bring sunshine into your life. So I can think about the Aurora Borealis when I'm spinning that wool. It's just so cool. Any kind of like neon yarn, you know, even this green is a little bit stunning, you know, like life-giving, the sun making the leaves green, bringing life, creating your own sort of inner summer with your knitting when the fall starts to get more dark. I mean, the days are going to get shorter here, so we're going to need more and more sunshine, if you ask me. Experimenting with color in a way that makes you feel optimistic, in a way that makes you feel soothed. You don't have to worry about what's fashionable, right? A gray, you know, tan. Just knit what makes you happy. Knit what makes you happy. How about warmth and the idea of connection? I was at my Fiber Guild yesterday, and even though we're only 4 of us, we were like, where is everybody? But it didn't matter because the 4 of us were there, and we had awesome discussions, and we did discuss politics, but, you know, we discussed it in a way that helped us all feel better, that helped us all feel warm, that helped us all feel connected, and I was working on that wool, that Aurora Borealis wool. I think it's called Night Glow, so we have the idea of glowing, and I was talking to my friend Kelly who made this wool and asking her how she came up with this and what are these gold fibers in there. So I had, you know, the gold, the sunniness of the wool that I was spinning, in addition to the warmth of the exchange and the camaraderie and the circle, you know. And that, boy, that's something I bring up all the time in my novels. My group meets every month, and I'm like, is it time for the guild meeting again in my novel, you know? And while the you know, it's drama and it's fiction, there are definitely some tense exchanges from time to time, but overall, it's a lot of sunshine and warmth in that group, and I love celebrating it in my novel just as I do love celebrating it in real life. You can think of stitches that join not just each other, not just the yarn, but stitches that join hearts. It's kind of a nice metaphor. It's kind of nice to think about. You know, you can bring sunshine into your life by the way you approach your knitting. How about the idea of making through clouds? So when things happen in life, like things are happening now. I mean, I saw a comment, and I'm sure it was kind of flippant. Somebody said, oh, I don't have anything to be afraid of, you know. And I'm like, well, lucky you, you know. Because if you're marginalized in any way at all, or you're connected to someone who's marginalized, then you're probably going to have some kind of clouds hanging over you right now. And, you know, I have the cloud hanging over me now with my dog. He's just, you know, he hasn't eaten in 24 hours. And, you know, it's like, when is he going to go? I mean, it's like a cloud. But when life is challenging, this is evidence that beauty and warmth still matter, you know? It's like, I can do this craft, make something that will keep me warm, might keep somebody else warm, that looks beautiful as I'm working out, feels beautiful, invites that warmth and brings that sunshine into my life, and it just makes it a little bit easier not to dwell on my dog, who's not doing well, in a way that just, you know, dominates my whole mood, right? I can still remember that there are things in life that are good, things in life that are positive, things in life that are sunny, that are warm. Even, you know, like I've talked about sometimes going back to our whips, because I have a lot of whips, and a couple of you commented on, oh, I went to back to when I was like 20 years old. Can you imagine like feeling the sun breaking through when you finish a project that you know, you thought you would never get done? I watched a Jillian Eve video the other day. I don't know, you might have caught that, where she did that owl sweater and she was confessing about how long it kind of sat before she got it done, but she got it done. I'm sure it felt like a ray of sunshine, you know, breaking through the clouds when she got that thing done. So yeah, clouds are short-lived. The sun is always going to be there, and we can remind ourselves of that when we are crafting, when we are, you know, making warm things out of warm colors. Then another thing we could connect with knitting and sunshine is the idea of giving and receiving light. So to the extent that this, whatever I'm making, is like a ray of light, I can share it with somebody, or they might share it with me, you know. You can even think of gifts as like bottled sunshine. That's kind of a cool way to think about it. It's like in a package. The sun, it's like you've got a little bit of the sun in the package and you're sharing it with somebody. And it's, it's like the Olympic flame, it's being carried from one hand to another. And even if we think about the connection to our ancestors that applies when we're doing something like this, then, that Olympic flame, it's like that idea that it started in Greece and it just keeps going. I mean, the Olympic flame, the sun, the fire of knitting just keeps going throughout all the centuries and across the world as all of us engage in this wonderful craft. Could be knit, could be crochet, right? Could be weaving. All of these crafts that have been around, keeping people alive for a long time. We're like passing the flame, passing the light. It's really cool. There and another way to think about this is that knitting is a craft that has a kind of power, because it has the power to make someone happy, it has the power to keep someone warm, it has the power to make someone feel treasured, the power to make someone happier when they're grieving. It's like an act of radiance. Isn't that cool? I love that idea. We're giving warmth, and at the same token, we're creating it for ourselves. What about the idea of the joy of small things? Sometimes, all we need is just a little ray of sunshine to remind us things are going to be okay. Things are going to be okay. There are tiny golden moments, like the fire star in the wool I was spinning yesterday, are like, just a moment of light shining through, reminding me things are going to be okay. The satisfaction that even small accomplishments can bring us, like you finish one row of color work and you look at it and it's like the start of something big, or you finish a sleeve, or you get something cast on, it's like a ray of sunshine. And it encourages us to be kind of mindful and to not forget that life isn't the small things, we don't have to accomplish huge giant things. A lot of times all we need is one little ray of sunshine and we feel better. So I just thought it'd be fun to encourage you, to encourage me while we're going through stuff, to think about bringing sunshine into our lives through knitting. Knit the sunshine in. There are a lot of ways that can relate to our knitting that remind us of life, of light, of hope, of faith. And it's tactile and it's visual, and sometimes you can even smell the sheep, and it's olfactory. It's a multi-sensory craft, and it reminds us of our connections to each other. And I can't imagine living without it, especially through these times. So I hope this message has been inspiring, at least a little bit. I appreciate you. I hope that you're going to have a fantastic week with lots of rays of sunshine, and I look forward to your comments, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.